Hello everyone, Swapnil here. I'll be the moderator. Thank you, Bhavna, for this wonderful introduction for this panel. Uh, Good afternoon and good day to all my respected panelists and the guest participants who have joined across from the globe. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic about future. Who would not like to know the future? I will start with a very interesting question to all of you. Is it only me or all of you are experiencing that the world is evolving at a rapid speed? Today, we wake up in a completely different world that was yesterday. As a professional, we should ensure that are our tools and processes ready for today as well as the future. Coming to procurement, as a procurement leader in this rapidly evolving market, disruption is a new constant now. As we see, I would like to highlight on three major points. We are witnessing, first is we are witnessing the change in information flow. You will be surprised to know that 80% of the data which we have is created in last 3-4 years. That's surprising. The change in product flow with help of industry 4.0, with new cutting edge technologies, 3D manufacturing, we have a completely different product flow now. And with all set transformation comes the very important point of changing expectations from our internal and external stakeholders. So our stakeholders are constantly pressurizing us to simplify the procurement process, to simplify the tools, to simplify the apps. Indeed, it's an exciting time for all the procurement professionals as the technology is advancing at a rapid speed and the apps are developed on a daily basis. So I would like to term this as appifying of procurement, right, which we all are experiencing. So these apps which will be giving an experience for our stakeholders to simplify the procurement experience. So it will be an user-friendly design. So again, it boils down to one thing: are we ready for future? Are we ready for our future? And the most important question is your organization procurement ready? So to start with, we will just start with a very basic and an important point, that how procurement has evolved over a decade. I'm very specific about this decade because a lot has changed in this decade. So here I would like to invite Mr. Amit Bal to share his views on this very first point of evolution of procurement. So Amit, if you can take us through this point and share your views on this. Amit, over to you.
Thank you, Swapnil, and thank you all the panelists for helping us to share our thought. So as Swapnil, you rightly mentioned, in last couple of decades, there is a complete change of the business expectation. And if I summarize my journey so far, so with various industry, one thing is that the business landscape are changing almost from a yearly to the hourly basis. So they are facing unprecedented change as well as the disruption in their business model because of maybe three different things. The expectation of consumers are changing rapidly. They are having a lot of data and digital tools available to evaluate what kind of a product and services are really meant for them, and how really be a dynamics of supply chain along with the cost mitigations parameter. So because business are into the complete disruptions mode and they will expect more from procurement as a function. So you go in any industry, any sector, you will definitely find earlier the procurement was considered as a function where they can compliant the business procedures and then followed by the negotiation. In last one decade, you will find that there are a lot of strategic objective has come, whether it is a lot of Ariba auctions, a lot of leverage which can be utilized to deliver more value to the business. And when I'm saying the more value to the business now are not only expecting you will be the negotiator for the best value, for the best quality, right time, in right place. It is going beyond that, and the expectations will be further challenging. So if I wanted to summarize in one line, the businesses are expecting from procurement as a function, what value you are going to bring. And that is what the time that the coming future, after so many disruptions we all have faced, what kind of a strategy we are going to be harnessed during the re-strategize the procurement function. And in this, there will be a various aspect, definitely, which we are going to discuss throughout our forum and throughout our interactions. But I wanted to just highlight 4 points. There will be currently various organizations are having category and operation model. There will be a model of end-to-end procurement, depend upon industry and depend upon the product and category. But what kind of an in-depth market insight you have? And that is nothing but your predictive analysis. So how you are going to be built in your value addition on some of the aspect, which is going to be a part of your day. At the same time, the most parameter which is going to be evaluated by business are sustainability. And I wanted to emphasize this on sustainability because it is not something a value add. It is becoming a part of the expectation from procurement. While you are assessing your vendor, while you are identifying the business opportunity, while you are working with various category strategies and the functional strategies to make sure that you deliver those value, sustainability is going to bring the lot of emphasizes how we are going to redefine the way what we are working. So these are the changing business expectation I wanted to highlight at this moment. There is a lot to talk, but I think that considering this 40 minute, 1 hour sessions, we need to move forward, and anything specific comes, we will address accordingly. Thank you, Swapnil.
Yeah, great, Amit. You have touched upon very important points, key points I would again highlight over here. The most important point is this: how the expectations of stakeholders have changed and evolved, which is leading to various changes. Then sustainability, yes, you are right, it's part of business. Third most important points which we have touched upon is the compliance in processes. And here, I would like to go to the next topic of, the very important point of procurement risk management and mitigation, because it is a very important point in today's world, and this will also lead to ensuring that the procurement is future proof. On this point, I would like to kindly request Vinay to share his viewpoints on this. Vinay, over to you.
Thanks, Swapnil. A Greek philosopher had once said that if you are not expecting the unexpected, then you will not find it, because it is not to be found by search or through Google. Unexpected things happen, and there are uncertainties in life. Did anybody imagine the pandemic ever, and the kind of life that we are leading from last 1.5 years? So when we talk specifically in terms of future proofing of procurement, future proof procurement, let us first of all understand future. What are we talking about? What is future? No, don't worry. I am not asking you to go to a tarot card reader or an astrologer to read about the future. What I am talking about is the vision, the dream that we all have. Even today, if you have to go to one place to the another, the Google Map first asks you, what is your destination and how do you find this destination? In order to find this destination, you should know what all things are in way. Have you ever been to an optician? He'll put a dummy goggle over your eyes, and then he will put several different kind of an option. And these options, he will ask you whether this future looks right, whether your vision is correct now or not. And these are the certain visions. They are different vision scenarios. Now, it depends upon us. We are talking about the short-term vision, long-term vision. What is it that we want to see? In terms of procurement, in terms of future of procurement, the first thing that we need to define is what is our future? What is the various alternate scenarios? What are the various alternate scenarios where we want to go? Now, in this current times, if we talk about uncertainties or the procurement risk, no, so today, don't worry, I'm not going to talk about the procurement demand risk, supply risk. I think all our experienced professionals and everybody will know about the supply risk, demand risk, the internal risk, the environmental risk. Everybody knows about that. I'm talking of those uncertainties for which we are not prepared. I'm talking of those things which we do not know. And these difficult times call for different sets of abilities. The biggest problem for us is, let me make a statement, standardization. All the procurement professionals look for standardization. We have been tuned, we have been told, standardize, standardize, standardize. And when we talk about the future and when something different comes, which is not standard, we get rattled and we don't know how to react. All the agility and the flexibility in our actions goes away. So standardization is one of the major challenges when we talk about the future of procurement. Of course, in day-to-day things, when we are handling tactical procurement, standardization is something which is a often talked about topic. So these difficult times need different skills. And the key skills that I'm going to talk about, I'm quoting a KPMG report for that, is Dynaxability. What is Dynaxability? Dynaxability is having a dynamic attitude in complex times. When we have this kind of an attitude, or when we build this kind of an attitude, then we are ready for the future. And if we are saying that, yes, we want to be future-proof, then there are certain things which we need to understand. We should not be worried about the unexpected, uncertain things. As we say, the wild card. Suddenly something pops up. So you can prepare for a price increase. You can prepare for globalization versus localization. You can prepare for 100 things. That will not ensure you a future-proof procurement. What ensures a future-proof procurement is your attitude, how you see your vision, how you see the future, rather than how you build your future. In terms of performance excellence, when we talk about excellence in performance, again, we talk a lot about benchmarking. When we talk about benchmarking for me is going to the past. What we have done in the past. What we have done in the past is past. What is it that we are going to do in future? And if we constantly benchmark ourselves or prepare ourselves on the basis of what happened in the past, we will never be able to create a modular, agile, flexible, future-proof procurement system. So summing up, we need out-of-box thinking for this. Something which is unconventional. All of you must have heard the famous story about Lord Ganesha. Narad Muni came to Shiv and Parvati. He offered him a knowledge of mango, and Shiv and Parvati threw a contest in front of their kids, Ganesha and Kartikeya, to take 3 rounds of the world. Kartikeya on his peacock immediately went off, and by the time Ganesha could think that he should go ahead on his mouse, Kartikeya had completed 2 rounds. He just asked Ganesha and Parvati to sit on one place, and he took 3 rounds of them, and he said that you are my world. You are my world. I have taken 3 rounds of the world. That is what unconventional thinking is all about. Out of box thinking is all about. Out of box thinking will not come suddenly. Out of box thinking comes from a practice, from your very nature to think differently. So uncertainties can be taken care, but then the important thing is that we have to be ready as procurement professionals. We have to prepare ourselves for that. We know what is our future. We should know what is the vision. And then we can have a checklist for future-proof for procurement. Over to you, Swapna.
Thanks, Vinay. Thanks for sharing your view. Very beautifully put in with a wonderful story. I would like to highlight a few points which are very important, and especially the out of box thinking which you have mentioned, which, yes, we all know out of box thinking, but how it comes through your attitude to see the future, which is very important. I like this thought of yours, and our participants would also agree. The second is the most important point of dynaxability. It's a very, very interesting term. I understand you have taken KPMG's reference, but it's a very important term, dynaxability, wherein you have to have this skill now. We would put in our CVs now this term, dynaxability. It would be the next search. In the search engine, it would be the next term which all the recruiters would be searching now. Dynaxability. I love this. And we all know, expect the unexpected. It's the pandemic. I'll not go in pandemic. We don't want it again, but expect the unexpected is for sure. We should always be prepared for it. Thanks, Vinay. This leads to one more interesting point, which will support the dynaxability, which will support our processes, our tools, which is technology adoption and the data science, which is data is now the next crude. I mean, it's data is so important now that all the tools will sit on the data. And as it was surprise for me that the 80% of the data on which we sit today was just built 3-4 years back. So here I would like to invite Prashant, who has is coming from a various experiences, sector, but he is also a data scientist. So Prashant, over to you.
Thanks, Swapnil, and thanks, Amit and Vinay, for sharing your views. I also really loved the way he has said the dynaxability. Really appreciated, and Amit, your views are also appreciated. Now, when it comes to in procurement, when it comes to data analytics, let me go to the basics of the analysis. What is mean by analysis? Okay, so probably we all know the dictionary meaning of analysis is the process of breaking the complex topic or substance into smaller part to get a better understanding. That's what is the definition of what analysis is. Pertaining to us, okay, as a human being, we started doing analysis since our childhood. Okay, maybe it's between fighting between brothers, fighting between mom and dad, and we analyze the information and we take sides. Okay, maybe it's a cricket match or anything, we do the analysis. Now that also becomes an inevitable part today into the procurement processes, okay, wherein there is a huge number, as Swapnil has already explained, there is a huge amount of data being generated in last 4 years. Okay, there is a data previous to that. Okay, so the procurement is also moved through the phases, and of course what Swapnil said, I just take a clue from that. Yes, data is next oil. Okay, data is next oil. Now, data remains as a data if you do not do anything with it. Okay, Data needs to be transformed into information which we can use for making a business decisions. And that's where the analysis comes into the play. That's where the data science, the modern tools are allowing us to look at the data way different and do the out of box thinking, as Vinay rightly said, and bring some models so that it will help procurement. Today, I will say that every one of us is purchaser. The people who are not working into purchase department are also purchaser, because you keep buying something on Amazon, Flipkart, or any other social platform. You are also a buyer. Okay, you analyze the data, you compare the things, you decide for your own, and in the end, to sum it up, what exactly we are gaining from it is a customer experience. Okay, the way Amazon, Flipkart, and other people are functioning in my good old days, or in our father's good old days, we know that for bringing anything we have to walk to the store, see the different things and buy it. There was nothing like a credit card, nothing like online shopping. Today, it's all possible only because of big data analytics and the analysis function, which involved into the business in every domain. But I will restrict myself to the procurement side of it. Okay, so basically, I'll start with how the data analytics comes into the picture. Analysis, as I said, it was right from the beginning. Now, there are 4 types of procurement data analytics, which we all are doing. I'm saying all are doing, okay, whatever tool we might be using, but we all are doing. Okay, the first one is descriptive analysis. Okay, so descriptive analysis is very basic fundamental analysis wherein we are analyzing the old data of procurement, that what exactly had happened in past. It will answer the question that what has happened. Okay, and then on the top of that, there will come a diagnostic analysis wherein we are trying to find out the answers that why it has happened. Okay, once these 2 steps are combined, and then there will be a third step sitting on the top of it, which will be the predictive analytics. So which from these first 2, descriptive and diagnostic, we will find a trend, we'll find a patterns, and we will use these things to predict the future procurement performance. Okay, this is the third one, and the fourth one is prescriptive analysis. Okay, so these 3 analyses will help us to bring a predictive model as well as make a decision based on the data. That will be prescriptive, that what exactly we need to do now further. Okay, so this is an evolution. Okay, and in the order I have told you, that descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. The difficulty of implementing it is go from descriptive to the prescriptive analytics. Okay, that's where the investments comes into, that's where the talent management, and that's where the data sources and everything comes into the play. So talking about the generation of the procurement analysis solution, you know, in 1990 to 2000, we were using Microsoft Excel, and it was basically crunching the numbers and finding out the answers which we need. Okay, from 2000 and 2010, we were having softwares which were doing the in-house data analysis. Basically, it was an on-prem data analysis what we were doing. Generation third has started with 2010 and 2015, wherein we have browser-based spend analytics softwares and dashboard developments, which has begun. And today we are in generation 4 in 2015 onwards, where we are having the cloud-based solution for analyzing the procurement data. It's not only analyze the internal data, but it commingle the external data with it and throwing us a beautiful results that what we are going to do next and what should be our action plan. The very technologically advanced organizations like Amazon Analytics or the other data analytics company are already into it. We as a manufacturing or other companies are slowly adopting it, but that's the future we are going to have. And every one of us, every single one of us, believe me that we are going to touch the data analytics parts as a procurement process, maybe this year onwards or very in the recent future, that everyone needs to be thorough with data analytics, or at least will use some data analysis tools which are scientifically proven, and data analysis softwares which will be coming into the play. Okay, now what will happen with this? Okay, where exactly this data analytics is going to help? Okay, so for your entire sourcing and category management, may it be consumption analytics, cost modeling and price benchmarking, contracting analytics, supplier risk, spend analytics, okay, transactional payments, payment terms analysis, invoice compliance, okay, all this will be now in some time will be flowing through the system, wherein no manual intervention will be done, and it will be automatically popping up the results. What are your tasks? What should be your future course? And what should be decision? What would be the saving? And how the effective category management will be placed into the play. So that's how we are looking forward. The analytics will play a bigger role. The current role as a procurement guys, which we are doing, will be definitely changing to the next level, where we will be utilizing this analytical tools, okay, on and off. And it is not only in procurement, but it is definitely happening through all the sectors of all the departments of the business. Okay, and what it will improve is the connectivity. Okay, as Swapnil has mentioned some time back, that today the information, okay, the amount of information is generated, the amount of information which is transferred, okay, it's quite huge. So the connectivity between this information between the various departmental function will be handled by the computers and AI right now. Okay, then adaptability will be very good. There will be speed and transparency improvement, which will help us to finally deliver value to the customer and enhance our customer experience. So these are the four facets on which this, you can call it as CATS, which is a term coined by consultancy companies. That is connectivity, adaptability, transparency, and speed of the to the market, what we are talking about. Okay. Now there are various sources of data, I'll say internal and external. Now going forward, both will be commingled, and there will be combined model will be developed, assessing all the data, and the results will be thrown out. So all in all, we were the analyst, we are the analyst, and we will be the more better analyst going in future of the procurement. That's what my take is in the future of the procurement. This is my opinion. Over to you, Swapnil.
Thank you, Prashant, for a very, a brief deep dive in the data science part of it. Definitely, after hearing this, the freshers in procurement would be enrolling for the data science programs now, right? So thanks once again, Prashant. I would just like to highlight a few points which are very relevant and which you have touched upon. Is generation 4, which is a cloud-based data analyst. So it's a different topic of discussion, but very important, which will help us to deliver value to the customers, because that is more important now. Without manual intervention, we can see all the dashboards in all the KPIs. There will be no need for an MIS now, or there will be a need, but no need to prepare for an MIS, which most of our time is consumed, right? So thanks once again. This leads to a very interesting point of procurement 4.0, which this all is leading towards. What Prashant is mentioning is all leading towards procurement 4.0 as a strategy. As it is related to industry 4.0, procurement has also prepared for procurement 4.0. And Badal, I would request you to share your views on this very important point.
Thank you so much, Swapnil. It's actually a pleasure to be around with so much of information in system and people. Probably the way we touched upon the evolution of procurement as a department function, as a role itself, to the risk and mitigation plans that what Vinay mentioned about, and absolutely the interesting concept of dynamic stability, which really means a lot for future generations, and the way we look future of procurement as, coupled with the data science and the application of big data analysis, which is a need of time. So probably I don't know how many of the jobs in today's scenario were ever been wondered in 80s or 70s in time. And how many of jobs which we are doing today would be seen down the line after 25 years in system? Nobody's sure about it. And we never know what are the next generation being prepared for in their new schooling and the curriculums that they're going through. Data science was never a part of process in till late 20th centuries, but now probably it is evolved significantly. Before I really deep dive into Procurement 4.0, because it's itself is a vast ocean to be talked about, few things just to quickly touch upon in terms of how environmental scanning, in terms of just extending certain point on what Vinay talked about, because ESG or maybe risk mitigation or probably uncertainties are the major key drivers for us to really focus on what Procurement 4.0 should look like. Uh, no other phenomena I feel is probably that determines the future of procurement can be done as uncertainties can do. The primary threat that arises from uncertainties can be put to use with a broad palette of uncertainty factors in mind. I think procurement managers can develop future scenarios that cast reliable prognosis into the future. With this thought in mind, I also probably think is future proofing and procurement transformation are interdependent. It cannot be worked in silos. Neither it can happen that it is possible to achieve one without getting into other. The lot of increasing volatility and disruptive future is approaching to us and can only be mastered through sweeping future-proof transformations in place. There are many uncertainty analysis which have been done, one which of course what Vinay talked about, and there are many other reports that survey has come in which shows that procurement functions under powerful pressure to transform now. Consequently, there is a discussion about whether procurement will exist in next 20 years or if procurement tasks will be performed by algorithms and network machines, what Prashant spoke about, all AI coming in play. If procurement is to survive in this disruptive environment, and if it must be quickly and extensively reinvented. And hence, I think procurement 4.0 is a very important concept for us to, be in the race. While we are searching lives on Mars for us to live and probably for future of Earth, I'm sure we would not want to be searching for some vehicles to commute to office every day on day-to-day basis, right? So the time, and of course, there is a lot of questions revolving around hype and reality. I mean, what is that we are living and what is that we would anticipate? But I'm sure none of us anticipated data science coming in such a future, force in play in such a shortest period of span. So I'll leave that question apart. Uh, probably before I touch upon Procurement 4.0 as a concept, I would like to just give some insights on Industry 4.0 first, so that we can relate where we come from and what we are targeting to achieve in future. So if I talk about industry, so we have been discussing number of trends that have been taking us into brave new world of business industry. We talked about procurement evolution, risk mitigation, ESG, big data, increased automation, and discussed other subjects that fall under the umbrella of Industry 4.0, which is the fourth industrial revolution. There has been a number of successful industrial revolution in the past. So it starts, say, from 18th century, wherein the first IR was being implemented, which talked about utilization of rising water and steam power in our day-to-day manufacturing that we do. Over a period, it evolved into Industrial Revolution 2, which started in 19th century and was more towards relatable of discovery of electricity, lead to mass production, production automation, and things in play. Subsequently, when we talked about Industrial 3.0, which is third revolution in industry that happened late 70s in 2000 in this 20th century, which talked about partial automation, which meant use of computer automation hardware into manufacturing process, making process bit of a semi-automatic automation into system and improving the productivity of the process in totality. Now, what we're talking is Industrial 4.0, which is still a concept to be thought and is looked upon to be fully existent in 2025, as many reports suggest. But I think we are still currently implementing, and we are still into managing the fulfillment of third phase itself in totality. Fourth industrial revolution is nothing but the networking of all the systems, which will lead to cyber physical production systems, and which will lead to smart factories in which production systems, components, and people communicate via network and production in near autonomous. So what it means is we'll create a lot of efficiency and bandwidth in system for people as well. Now, given the current state of industry where we are, it is evident that we are in the midst of transitioning from 3 to 4. And while the development is expected to happen, it has determined or discussed for a moment, it is useful for us to look forward for this transition. As a response to the concept Industry 4.0, we have also witnessed an emergence of Procurement 4.0. Now, what is creating Procurement 4.0? Bringing Industry 4.0 to procurement is part of larger goal for many organizations, centering procurement as a value creation center, strategizing leaders, AI, automation, integrated data sphere provided to the foundation, enhanced by the capabilities of Industry 4.0 technology. Some background to be given about it. Most of the reports, if you see in today's scenario, 50% of the companies in today's scenario are struggling with automation itself. And neither of those 50% have completely or fully, implemented this automation and big data analytics into their portfolio in today's scenario. Many of businesses already believe that they have achieved the status, while recent survey done by Forrester reports, it says that almost 2/3, that is 65% of our global organizations assess their own production maturity as advanced, which is not true in today's scenario. If you look under the surface, find the organization aren't quite as close to Procurement 4.0 as they initially believed, with under a third of 30% of have digitizing more than half of their procurement processes. Large majority have digitized under 25% of the processes only. The research also have found that just 16% of organizations are truly advanced into their procurement transformation. The harsh reality is that organizations are nowhere near Procurement 4.0, leaving them at a risk of losing out of digital savvy competitors further ahead of procurement transformation curve, and organizations struggling with data issues. There are many factors to be considered. Important part is, while we talk about so much of digitization and process transformation, important is the process evolution itself. So how we streamline the procurement process in totality itself. First thing first, if the processes aren't digitized, companies will never truly succeed in digital transformation. Instead, procurement department will remain saddled with inefficient manual processes, poor integration with backend systems, and all we talk about S2P processes and disparate data silos across the business. Unfortunately, data is most of the companies, the data is in very poor shape. You'll not have many things available for decision makings to be done, which also leaves you in between of what was been done and what is to be done in future. This blinkered approach with data silos removing the ability to compare data sets effectively leads to hundreds of thousands are wasting searching for data. Like what probably Vinay said, Googling the data is not a solution for us for the life. Second part important is, are we working strategically with our suppliers? So working with supplier doesn't mean working on a transactional level, working on the cost front, but as in once organizations have visibility across the supply chain, they can use this data to ensure they're collaborating with suppliers to make most of these opportunities to innovate and save. Ensuring the right suppliers are in place, identifying ways to reduce costs are important. There are a lot of environmental changes which are happening in today's scenario. Talk about exhaustion of all renewable energy sources in today's scenario. What are the next alternatives for us in future? Are we future ready from a supply perspective? We may have gone through so much of disruption in previous, pandemics, what Swapnil spoke about, a great recession in 2008, technological supply chain crisis, which we've recently came across past 2 years before pandemic came in. Does that impact procurement? So procurement is one of those functions who will have to live up to the pace irrespective of what happens in the market or whatever scenarios we are going across. And hence, Procurement 4.0, digitization of the process, technological advancement is something which will definitely lead us to a long way and long run. The important part is the long and the winding road. On the long road of Procurement 4.0, the business needs to be realistic when assessing their own maturity and ensure that digital transformation journey is achievable. Only talking about that we have achieved it or we have reached to a level will not really help us on a longer way of our journeys. They must continually assess the progress to ensure that organization is making the most of its opportunities, integrating and adjusting to meet the demands and opportunities of emerging technologies. Once the business has accepted its true state of digital maturity and mapped a clear course, then it can be effective journey that begins of Procurement 4.0. If I talk about major 6 pillars of Procurement 4.0, they focus on major 6 areas. Is like the new procurement value proposition that we create, digitization, digital categories and service procurement, digital supply chain and supplier management, digital process and tool, and finally organization capabilities. If you look at this, most of every aspect of this talks only about digitization of the process, which is the key for 4.0. If I quickly touch upon all these points, maybe a few minutes on each of them, just to give some more insight. So, like if we talk about the new procurement value proposition, in the context of procurement 4.0, CPOs need to rethink the value added by procurement within the company. With the new opportunities provided by digital and big data, traditional organizational boundaries between research and development, manufacturing, procurement, and in some cases, the entire supply chain will become increasingly blurred. As indicated by Industry 4.0, which is just a baseline for us for Procurement 4.0, a survey of 235 European industrial companies, the procurement division has a primary owner of a supplier interface and keep and even increase its distinctive value proposition within the company by seizing some of new opportunities. Second part is digital category and service procurement. New technologies will lead to new business needs which will reflected in new requirement for the procurement department. One of these requirement will be capturing, analyzing, and acting on real-time data and activity at the heart of industry, which is 4.0. Key data will be registered using sensors, analyzed in real time, transformed into actions by actuators and devices, while all being made available in real time to value chain partners, which means that we will have to be equally active on the data source, tap the opportunities before it has been said, and maybe more be proactive on our approaches to implement our supply chain strategies. Digital supply chain and supply management. It is a manufacturing dream for the ages. The ability to integrate all the data from customer, distributors, captive production, supplies in real time to optimize supply chain performance. And this definitely will be leading to reduced lead times, freight inventory cost, while improving the customer experience and even supplier performances. Innovative procurement data utilization. Data analytics, as Prashant already said, are probably the most important enabler for 4.0. Smart technologies and algorithms allow very large volumes of data from many heterogeneous sources to be aggregated, processed, and analyzed. The resulting analysis can be used to understand suppliers, market, and customer, predict market trends, look into machine and product failures in advance, which will help you to be, increase your uptimes on your production capabilities as well. Analyzing data and using it smartly is therefore one of the key success factors for companies that want to make most of the potential of Procurement 4.0. Digital process and tools. Of course, this is nevertheless one of the most important aspects as well. Although how much we talk about data and digitalization, how companies are equipped to collaborate, analytic, and engage with the spectrum of tools along with entire procurement value chain, from planning and sourcing to contract negotiation to order deliveries, payment, and supplier tracking management, and so on and so forth. It's an entire social satisfaction, what probably Vinay talks about, is really an important parameter for us to look at. Last but not least is the organization capabilities, which is the sixth focused area of Procurement 4.0. It is clear that first 5 elements of the framework, even if not all the relevant to all companies, but they pose such a tremendous change to the way the working for procurement that they require a fundamental rethink regarding organization capabilities both, which will be reshaped over the time. Companies will need to create new job profiles, for example, as we spoke about, whether the buyers of new categories of items, contract experts on intellectual properties, data scientists of data maintenance, analytics and mining. So this would be the new future that would come up, and people, an organization at a HR structural level will have to think about what would be the next support system, what companies would need to evolve in this entire ecosystem. So to conclude, probably I would like to say that the introduction of procurement will mean developing new value proposition, meeting new business needs, integrating data across functions and value chains. It will call for us this data proactively and intellectually, while introducing digital process and tools. Perhaps most important, it will require fundamental reshaping of the procurement organization and its capabilities to take on the challenges and opportunities of expanding into global digital revolution. So with this, probably Swapnil, I would hand over the platform to you for.
Yeah, thank you, Badal. for a very insightful sharing your insights. And it was really interesting to know procurement 4.0, and the harsh reality which is highlighted by you is nobody is matured enough for this, but it's way to go. It's an opportunity for all of us. It's an opportunity, and we should look at this as an opportunity, right? Also, you touched upon that the digitalization will be the base for procurement 4.0, which all agrees. And this is also in relation to Prashant's point of the technology adoption by the CPOs, by the procurement organizations, which will definitely lead to procurement 4.0, and which will finally support industry 4.0 in the end. So yes, we have a long way to go, but thanks a lot, Badal, for sharing your views. So just to again highlight a few key points which we have all discussed, and highlighting the key points, we have touched upon the four key areas which will ensure that we will be ready. We will of course be ready 200% for the next revolution which will be coming up. So just to highlight the key points from the evolution is, first is as highlighted by Amit, is expectations from stakeholders. Yes, there is a lot of pressure again to the procurement community from the stakeholders to upgrade the systems. I mean, not upgrade, but to simplify the system, right? So this also is a part of the compliance in the processes and value which we are bringing in. Third, the most important point is sustainable procurement. So this is not, sustainable procurement is not just a KPI, but this will be part of the big business. Then going forward, being compliant in the process, we should also mitigate the risk which will be coming forward in the procurement transformation. So we should expect the unexpected, as highlighted rightly by Vinay, that Dynax ability, that is the attitude. We should have an attitude to change and to see the future. That is more important. We should see the future and not just anticipate the future. The one who will see the future can only transform it. Then moving on to the analysis part, that is the data science part of this, which is technology adoption, which is the very basic and the key point which Prashant has given us a very brief and good understanding of this, that data is data and unless we analyze it. So yes, we have to analyze this, and then analysis going forward, because everybody, as highlighted by Prashant, all of us are buyers. Only procurement professionals are paid to be buyers. So that's the only difference between the buyers and the procurement professionals. But yes, we should feel proud that yes, we are paid for analyzing the spend of our stakeholders and our organizations to spend it in a better way. Then yes, generation 4, which already we are into cloud reporting and all. Then the procurement 4.0, which Badal has very well touched upon, and we are moving towards that stage. Now I would like to, this was all about from our panel. I would like to open the session for Q&A. So please feel to drop in question. I am already receiving a few of the questions from the audience, from the participants. So we can take on the questions. We'll just give couple of, few seconds till we open the session for Q&A. So as we move on to the Q&A, so I was thinking we have many questions coming up. So I would like to combine a few questions so that we can have the one or two questions in the interest of time. So yes, first question is, how do you manage the risk and uncertainties in going forward? So Vinay has touched upon this point. So I would like Vinay, if you can answer this.
I'll give you an OTP for that. Being an express courier industry and being in touchless environment, we work on OTP. And you must be wondering what this OTP is.
Yeah.
Now, this OTP, I will bifurcate into three parts, O, T, and P. So when we are talking about uncertainties which are not known, which are not ready for that, how do we be prepared for that? So obviously, there are three levels. O is the organizational level. At the organizational level, we have to evaluate what all risks are there, what all opportunities are there, and I would frame it as nice surprises. Why? I'll not say as something wild card or something which is unexpected. These are nice surprises. Why? Because these are opportunities to grow. These are opportunities to build up on these systems. So that is OTP O. Then T. T is at the team level. At the team level, as a procurement team level, how geared up our team is, how visionary we are, how we have aligned to the organizational levels, industry levels, overall global levels. As a team, how much we are aware. And finally, personal level. As a person, as a teammate, as a one individual person, how do I feel committed? How flexible, dynaxability point that I spoke about.
Yeah.
That is the third point. As a person, if I'm open to suggestions, if I'm open to new ideas, if I'm open and flexible, then only I will be able to provide a shock resistant or a shock proof kind of an environment wherein I am able to tackle all these issues or all the uncertainties that come in my way. So that's the OTP from my side.
Yeah, great. Vinay, thanks for sharing this OTP formula with all of us. It will definitely help all of us to be future ready for this procurement. And I'll take on one more question is which is related to evolution of procurement and how technologically it is a mix of technology evolution and so how the organizations from inside be future ready for this. So Amit, if you can take on this question.
Sure. Thank you, Swapnil. So guys, I think it was quite interesting discussion, and I wanted to answer this question in a 4 bullet point because it is always easy to remember. So what we discussed today as a panel, as a team, and each one of us are going through this challenging mode. Someone is ahead in the learning curve, someone is ahead in the game, someone is just following. That's fine. It is just a learning and how agile working model we are coming. So I wanted to stress upon 4 things, Swapnil. The first thing is the changing leadership and the workforce requirement. And this is the point I think not has come up in our discussion, but that is something is a game changer because all the attitude, approaches, the capability, everything is going to come with those kind of a leadership, because first and foremost is that how you are going to utilize your data in your living life, right? Every morning we wake up with a mobile messaging and we started with that. Why? Because it is a changing era and we have to live with that. But more than that, how we can utilize that to build that kind of a leadership and the workforce which is required. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, with a digital platform, we have to re-energize our ecosystem. So most of the job which was there 20 years back, 25 years back, today it is not there. And same what Prashant, Vinay and Badal reflected, that this will not be there what we are doing today. We might be feeling that we are ahead in the curve, but that will not be true with a changing expectation. And the way we are moving in our day-to-day life. the third thing which I wanted to add is that how to work prioritization, because most of the time there is a pressure on the procurement function to do more with a less resources, and that can only possible to have a work prioritization. And you will not able to convince with emotion why you are prioritizing this versus that, and your data will be utilized. So this is my third key takeaway, that how our work prioritization can be utilized as a decision making. And the last but not the least, the various ways, like OTP is very good concept when you talk about what are our operating model, because the way the expectation of businesses are changing because of a dynamics, how our agility and the more of an operating model which we wanted to build, because it will build more resilient team and it will create more flexibility, because finally everyone has a 24-hour, but the prioritizations as well as the flexibility which we are going to create, everything is creating that ecosystem. And I just wanted to put this as a key takeaway for each one of us as well as all the members who are joined, that the organization, the team, the function who are going to be worked on these 4 key areas, they are going to lead that change, and someone will be leading and someone will be following. So each and every organization, each and every person would really wanted to make a differentiator, and this 4 will be a differentiator for us. And this is what I just wanted to add. Swapnil, what you mentioned, what would be our key takeaways or focus areas going forward?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, Amit. Very well put in the very 4 bullet points, which are very much clear for all of us, and we can remember this very well, which will definitely help us to be future ready. With all of this point discussed, so we discussed on 4 key pillars, which will be helping organizations, helping procurement leaders to take on the future which is coming up. And yes, we should expect the unexpected. So all with that, I would like all the panelists, Prashant, Vinay, Amit, and Badal, thanks a lot for your time, precious time, and sharing your valuable insights, which were very useful for all of us. And I hope the participants and our guests who have joined these sessions have also learned from all these things, and they will also be ready to take on the future. I'll not take further questions in interest of time. I would like to hand over to Bhavna. Bhavna, over to you. Thanks a lot,
Swapnil, so
everyone.
just couple of thoughts before we wind up, probably
Oh,
just in
sure,
interest of
Badal.
procurement
Sure,
professionals.
sure.
It's important because, once as Henry Ford famously claimed that coming together is beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is success. And this still rings true today for all professionals. So I think it's time for all procurement professionals to really be intact, sharing and caring. Although it's a very basic concept what I'm talking about, but cross-industry expertise sharing, creating a platform wherein you can be updated about industries, globalizations, things around in different dynamicity that is coming around would definitely be a key for us to be successful in our futures.
Sure. So thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal. Well, I just like one question which has come in, and the team has requested me to quickly take that on because we, try and capitalize every second we've got with, you gentlemen on the screen. So, it'll be great if the panelists can speak on real life examples or use cases wherein they have implemented in their respective organization new ideas which would have helped in disruptions and building an agility in the entire supply chain. So, we want those real life cases, and I'd love, Swapnil, if you can direct that to our panelists, someone.
Yeah, sure. So I would quickly ask Vinay to take on this. Vinay, if you can.
Vinay,
So,
would you like to take it over?
so though I would not like to mention about the pandemic, but the pandemic itself is the greatest and the biggest example of how these things have been implemented, how the changes have been implemented. The earlier figure, there's so many things. Everybody was so much fussy about the space that they are sitting. Was so much fussy about the timings that they are coming to office, not going to office, the KRAs and all those things. The boss is not able to see the subordinates. Now, all the space concept has gone. Everybody, the boss, the junior most, everybody is in that 2 by 2 inch screen on your laptop, and everybody is occupying the same space. What matters is ultimately what is delivered. What matters is how we have gone forward, how we have capitalized that opportunity. What matters is the way we have worked together as a team. So there can be, use cases. If I'm talking about use cases, there can be, everybody will come up with certain use case, certain areas, but each organization has been a use case. We, for example, in Blue Dart, we have been operating throughout the pandemic. I have been in office right from May 2020, not 2021. 95% of my workforce is coming to office. We have been delivering against the adverse circumstances. So it's that passion for the organization, it's that passion to do something right, and it's passion to deliver. Again, same concept, OTP. When a person identifies itself with the team objectives, when the team objectives are aligned with the organization objectives, then the final goals are delivered. So OTP holds good here also.
Yeah, thanks Vinay. Thanks for this. So Bhavna, any other questions, or we can?
No, absolutely. I think well answered right there. Definitely, we would have loved to, ask everyone on the use cases more. But in interest of time, of course, we respect your schedule as well. So thank you all for being a part of this wonderful summit today. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Bhavna.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Bye.
Thank you.